Hello, hello, how are you? This is Jelly Bling. Today's project is Pretty Petals. So I've used this once before and I'll show you that project here in just a minute. But I wanted to use it again and I wanted to do lots of different colors. So it's kind of a fun fold, very easy to make. This is Country Lace designer paper and just a little bit of soft sea foam blending brush. And I'm using some sets that I've had listed that I want to use. Today is the day. And I love how these turned out. So there's this one. Then there's this one. You know how I love blue flowers. Well, these are Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. Okay, and then, excuse me, I had two stamp sets sitting on my desk. And they're old, they're retired, they're wonderful. When Tony saw the two of them, he says, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. You have to make something with that, not realizing that they're really old. So I thought, well, I'll just throw that in there because I'm sure that you have some sets that are old, you haven't used in a while, and you just love, like this one. So that one was fun. And then this stamp set, I've used it a few times. It is called It's Okay. And I love how this one turned out. Might be my favorite. And most of these cards, other than You're a Classic, most of these cards are the stamp sets are about saying, hey, I'm there for you, friend. Love and strength. I'm using a lot of these words. And this is a nice set too. The flower, the little mountains in the background. I've used this twice, loved it every time I've used it. And then the stamp set, It's Okay, which is what this one here is all about. But when you look at that, that's quite simple, but it's very pretty, it's very nice. And then the greetings are just really nice. It's okay if all you did today was breathe. It's enough if all you did today was survive. I mean, those are really nice. And when somebody's going through something, whether it be cancer or just a hard time or a breakup or a loss of a pup or a parent, these cards are nice because you're not telling them, hey, you need to do this. Oh, you should do that. You're putting no pressure on them other than to say, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. And I think sometimes we need that. And sending a card, I mean, that's a constant reminder. So that's what this set today is all about. Excuse me. And then Pretty Petals dies because there's two different ways to do this project. So this one has a little bit of soft sea foam in the background using a blending brush. This one I stamped the greenery directly on, I'm noticing my bow is loose, directly onto the focal point and then die cut the leaves. And this one is die cutting the greenery and the flowers. And I have a tip, a hint for lining up these flowers. So if you have this set, either you already know and you'll appreciate it, and if you have it and you haven't used it, this is a great tip to make things easy. Actually, a couple of tips. Okay, so I want to do another card in Fresh Fuchsia and Petunia Pop with the new Petunia Pop ribbon and do it on the gray colors. So there's two different choices. Do you want Mossy Meadow or do you want basic gray? There's no wrong. At first I picked out these papers because there's some beige in the wood grain paper, and this is basic beige. And I thought I'll have one sheet of this and one sheet of that. It's like after putting them together, it's better to have them similar. So I have this pattern, of course, the wood grain pattern, and this other eyelet pattern. And you would think, oh, the wood grain has to be the manly card, but I think it looks really nice on this paper too. I'm using a few old products. I have this sitting around. I'm not sure what it's called. To me, every time I looked over there, well, I shouldn't say that, because if you have it, I'm going to ruin it for you. Okay, you know I can't help but say it. To me, it reminds me of it like a snake. You see that on there? But I think it works really well with this card. Okay, let's get started. A fresh freesia petunia pop. Those colors together, woof. Card. Pretty petals. So, paper for stampin'. New ribbon, or it's new to me. This is iridescent petunia pop ribbon. Petunia pop. It doesn't say iridescent. Maybe on here it does. Iridescent ribbon. And what I really like is it is almost, not quite, but it's so soft and it's almost sheer. Like if I put this over these two colors, can you see through there? I mean, it's that delicate. So because it's so delicate, I could get away with doing a double bow. Since it's on top, since it eventually needs to be done, let's do it. Petunia pop. And then, of course, iridescent pearls. On some of the other projects I used, or samples, I used some retired products, but I think they go really well with the card. And I'll put pictures on my blog, and my blog is jillybling.com, and I'll have pictures of everything inside and outside. And sometimes if you like a project, it's nice to see lots of pictures of it. Okay, double bow. We're done with that. Iridescent pearls, we'll get to those. So here are the papers, and we're going to be using Country Lace designer paper. I have a lot of it. And we'll be using Country Woods for the wood grain paper. I have a lot of that too. It's good stuff. Okay, so here are all the pieces. So let's just start out by getting the card base started. Okay, basic gray paper, and the paper cut sizes are in the video description. So if you want to make it, it's all right there already. So this is a simple Z fold card. There's nothing like a classic fold in half flat card, but a Z fold card is just a little additional interest, but still very easy to make. Okay, these are inside papers. I think I saw a duplicate. Yep. We need only one, so we'll stamp on this in just a minute. So, this is for the top. These pieces here, what did I do the other one in? This one I did it in the Country Lace, a little bit more of that pattern. This one will be in lace looking Country Lace. And you know, as I set these on top, it's like, oh, the gray, that goes nice. So if you want to switch it up, use any colors, that's fine. But then these basic beige pieces will be kind of like, why'd you put that there? So when you're lining up your designer paper, I'm purposely putting it a bit near the crease. So this has an equal border. And then the crease, at one time, chances of you seeing both pieces of paper together are slim. Here, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. See how close I'm putting those? But that border right there, with just the crease barely showing, is very similar to this. So chances are you'll look at the card, you'll see it like this. You'll go, oh, that's nice. Are you really going to have it all flattened out? Probably not. You'll probably put it up on your table, on your counter. Enjoy it. Look at it from the side. But just so you know, the paper top is 4 1/4, and I cut these to 2 inches each, 2 by 5 1/4. Okay, and I'm going to wait to attach the inside pieces till after we stamp on the white. So we can attach the basic gray. I have a little bit of a hint for attaching that, where if you take your glue, put it right here, and I know that more of this front panel is going to stick onto here, but I'm not sure how far to go. If I did it the whole way, chances are I have too much and it would stick to the inside of the card. So I'm going to put a little bit right here, because I know safely that this panel will go that far. So my glue is probably from here to here, and this is going to be a little bit taller and a little bit shorter to cover it. So let's take these out. I'm going to get this centered. Ooh, all the basic gray looks good. So I'm looking at the side of the card. Are this and this, that and that equal? Then I'm going to hold it up, make sure they're equal. And I say all that because lately, I don't know if it's because I got new glasses. I think it's all straight. I continue to do the project. And then I look at it later, it's like, that is really crooked. But this looks good. Even when I put it there, that looks good. Hold it up, good, good. Okay. So on this white piece of paper, I want to stamp a little bit. So on these samples, let me show you the greetings on the front. This one is different. Right there up at the top. Woohoo! This one I stamped at the bottom, and I like how that turned out. This one I stamped on a little word label, and that's perfect for this situation. This one I did no stamping. Okay, that wiggly bow is going to drive me crazy. Not going to go anywhere now. Just needs to dry. So I want to stamp some words at the bottom and then put the flower on top. So here's this, and I want to stamp "There is hope." Okay, and I'm going to stamp that in Memento. I'm going to make sure that I can stamp straight. I'm going to try to stamp on this line first. It looks like it might be going uphill a little bit. Therefore, when I stamp on here, I'm going to take the last letter, the E, and drop it down a little. Look straight, drop it down just a little. There, that's good. Okay, so we have that done. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to do some blending brush. So how about if we work on the bouquet, the flower arrangement. So here I have two pieces of paper, one for the flowers, one for the greenery, and these are polymer. Therefore, I'm going to pull out my foam pad and put it underneath. Polymer, I always try to do that. The classic red rubber, because the foam is already attached, I don't feel the need, but if it's there, that's fine. Okay, so each of these, the flowers and the greenery, are two different colors, and I'm going to use a dauber to apply a little bit darker color. So this one is Petunia Pop, and this one is Mossy Meadow. So their friends are Petunia Pop Fresh Freesia and Mossy Meadow for the dauber, and Old Olive for the first stamp the whole greenery in Old Olive and then apply a little bit of Mossy Meadow. Now I always try to do it the lighter color as the first and then put darker color on there. Okay, so lighter color is Old Olive. Then Mossy Meadow down at the bottom. That's kind of noisy. I was on my snips. And then just a few other places where maybe the leaves come out from the stem. Just to make a little interest in the, I'll hold this up. So there it is. Because if I did it just one color, well, I could show you. One color, the lighter color. So that just looks a little bit flat. It still looks good though. And this has a little bit more depth because you see both of the colors in there. It's optional. Okay, then I'm going to do the same with the petals. And I'll do that in Petunia Pop. It's going to be the darker color. So I have a dauber. And the lighter color is Fresh Freesia. Okay, so ink it in the lighter one. And then apply a little bit of darker color, just maybe on half of the flower, each of the flowers. Then stamp that. That came out a little splotchy. Let's try the other side. Let's do it again. Fresh Freesia, Petunia Pop. That's a little bit better, a little smoother, but just the stamp naturally has the different toned like detail on it. So when you look at this stamp, if you're thinking, oh, it's a flower, but when you really look at it, see how there's darker parts, lighter parts, and it's kind of I want to say like a grid pattern, like if you had a linen top stamp, how you would have that pattern in it. That's in it just to make it look like there's different parts of the petal, even though it's just one stamp. I hope that makes sense. That's a pretty stamp. So a darker part and a little bit lighter. And then we're going to do this little one with these little flowers on the inside. We could do that now. We'll cut these in just a minute. So here's the inside. So let's do the green, Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. So Old Olive first, Mossy Meadow just at the bottom. Did I smear that? No. Okay. So we're done with the Old Olive. Whew. Have you ever tried to do things? I used to say to my boss all the time, and then he started repeating it to me, touch it once. So I was about to put the dauber just off to the side. Oh, I'll get it in a minute. He's like, no, take care of it. Just do it. Touch it once. Okay, and then Petunia Pop and Fresh Freesia. Same process. Start out in the lighter color, then use a dauber to apply just a little bit of darker color. And I'll show you how those line up. If you haven't used a stamp, you know it's not hard. But if you haven't used a stamp, you could see how easy it is. Look how cute those lined up. See, the little flower has a stem. Very cute. Okay. You know, before I put these too far away, I should try to put the words in here. Just because if I whoops, I could flip it over. So on the outside I have, there is hope. I didn't really plan this part. I have nothing setting out. There is hope. This one right here. There's hope even when the brain tells you otherwise. I like that. That's kind of nice. Do I have that ready? Ooh, this has a nice font. It's okay if all you did was breathe. I think I did one similar to that. There's a whole lot of encouraging words over here. It's okay to try again tomorrow. What do I say in the front? There is hope. It's okay to try again tomorrow. Take your time. When you're ready, I'm there. I wonder if I even got it ready. Which one was I saying? Even if your brain, I didn't even get it ready. Okay. Okay. I'm out of blocks. I even went out into the trunk trying to find more blocks. Okay, so I'm going to ink this into the memento, just because that's what I did on the front. And I'm going to stamp it a little bit lower than I naturally would, just because, see this one? If I stamp it too high, you're going to see it when you have the card right out of the envelope. See how this is a little bit lower? I think that works well. Okay, let me test it though. Okay. Oh, I got my finger in the green ink. Okay. I know that's going to cause a problem, so gotta take care of that. Oh, I could use my new cleaning cloth thing. This here, that came with my glass mat. Oh, I have ink all over it. Okay. Clean. Okay, and I'll do the blending brush in just a minute. Okay, let's get back to cutting this and this. I think we're done with the mat. So there are dies. Here's my little note for help. So there's a die to cut out the greenery. And if you want, you can stamp the flowers right on here and it will cut that out too. It could just be a one pass through your machine. So I'm going to cut that out and then cut these out. Here they are. Uh-oh. And I purposely left them in, maybe the mat is easier to see. I purposely left them in the die. Ooh, that is easier. Because if you had all these pieces out, what are you going to be doing with them to attach them? You're going to be turning each one, trying to figure out, okay, where do they fit? Oh, let me look at a photo of a completed card. So if you leave them like that, they perfectly fit over this. So here is a piece, and I'll tell you what that means in just a minute. But if you look at this, look at that. See how it perfectly fits? So, knowing that, what are you going to do with it? Because you can't really put dimensionals on the back of those and then just set it down, hoping you could see where they're placed. So my little tip is, let's put dimensionals through these little holes. Then we'll know where they go. And my note about 4 or 5 with glue. So what that's all about is you could put the flowers on with dimensionals. That's great. But I don't know if you could tell on here. On these I have each of these, like 4 or 5 of these flowers on with glue on half of it, dimensional on the bottom. So when you look at it, it creates shadows. So if I turn it over, you'll be like, oh, I see the dimensionals under there. But from the top, you only see it on a few of them. So just, once again, a little interest, a little stepping it up there a bit. The same thing here. These 5 have glue on just part of the flower. This here is lifted up with the dimensional. And then the rest of them are just on dimensionals, or you could just put those on flat with glue. Okay, so now that all of that is said, and we're going to need a few half dimensionals, I'm going to leave this right here in place, and I'm going to put one dimensional through each of these little holes that's going to hold our flowers. And this will pay off here in just a minute. Right now you're thinking, that's a whole lot of work. But it's better than doing it the puzzle method. And if you've worked with this before, you'll probably say in your head, I'm going to do that next time. It just makes it a little easier. Because I did 2 of them. The first one, it was a puzzle. Then I got smart where I pulled this paper out of the garbage, and that helped. Okay, so all of them have a dimensional. Yay! And now 4 or 5 of them are going to get glue. So this one I'm going to put thin glue, just because I don't want to sit there and wait for it to dry. And then this one down here at the bottom. So the ones that have glue are the lowest one, this one, the 2 big ones, the one in the middle, and then this one off to the side. Okay, so I know where this one goes. Oh, but how do I have this? It needs to be, oh, that's another thing I have to show you. Why is this challenging right now? It's challenging. This is what I wanted to show you. And I'm purposely stalling a little bit, letting the glue start to dry. Excuse me, it must be allergies or something. Okay. So I was really stumped by this stamp set. So these little leaves, these petals, when you look at them, you can assume, just by the way they have them pictured on here, that this is like the bud and the petals go up. That's what they do in nature. But you know what? It's the other way around. Because if you took this, let me clean it. Okay. So if you took this, the way that they have it there, which is like that, and you try to line it up, it doesn't line up, no matter how you adjust it. But if you turn it upside down, so these little knobs are the flower top, like a coneflower, you know how it has the dark part? Then it lines up perfectly. These 2 little ones up at the top. So, just as an FYI. Okay, so with that said, it's lined up. Bottom is this one. So I'm going to start with this one because it's out of its little spot. I'm going to stick it in the glue, dimensional. Let's see. Oh, good. Stick it in the glue. And it doesn't have to be perfect, like where the hole is, but just somewhere in the area. And then when we take off this little template, all of the flowers are going to be perfectly in place. So my little pause to show you stuff like the glue, because now when I push down on it, each one of them, bang, it sticks. I love it when stuff works out like that. Oh, that last one didn't stick. Okay, so I have a little story, and if I don't get to all of it, I'll finish it. So last night, went to bed on time, and well, it was kind of funny. I kept on hearing this rustling in the, it sounded like in the leaves, but there's no leaves. And it sounded like walking, and the security lights went on. And I'm like, what is going on out there? And Tony was already sleeping and snoring. The dog was snoring. And there I was hearing this choo, 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 and the security light was on. It's like somebody's out there walking. It ended up being a deer, and it was all the way out by the road. And it was the light by the driveway gate going on. So that's fine. Deer can walk just fine. That's wonderful, actually. I love Bambis being around, especially when they're not in the property eating the garden. Okay, so after that, calmed down, went to bed. I think it was like an hour later, after in bed, all of a sudden, the heater or the air conditioner or something came on, and it's really loud, like shh. I'm like, what's going on? Why did that come on? Maybe Tony left the air conditioner on. But then it was really stinky, like something burnt. I don't know what it is. I couldn't turn it off. I was at the thermostat pushing the off button, but it was already at off. Okay, I'm going to continue the story. I had to do stampin' first. It's kind of an exciting story. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to do the swoosh of seafoam on this page, and then also on the inside, because at this point it looks nice, it looks crisp, but if I do a swoosh of seafoam, it'll look really good. Okay, so I went and I woke up Tony. I said, it's like the air conditioner's on and I can't turn it off. He's like, just push the button. I said, I tried that, it's not turned off. I said, and it stinks, it stinks. He's like, oh my gosh, it stinks. And so he got up, put on his glasses, and he was trying to do what I was doing, trying to turn it off. And it wasn't going off. And it was already in the off position, but why was it blowing? Is it the heat? Is it the air conditioner? But it smelled bad. Anyhow, he went over to the electrical panel, which is in a cabinet. He opened it up and he switched it off. But the stink was really bad. So all the windows went open. And of course, if you want to get air through, you have to open up all the blinds. And I think like after a half an hour, well, I know it's more than that because my little watch told me, you're up for an hour and 45 minutes because it smelled bad. Electrical stuff. I'm like, is it something out there with that thing or what? He's like, I don't know. We'll call the man in the morning. He went right back to bed. He was sleeping. So it's been off all day today, which is fine because it hasn't been super hot. I think it got to like 85. That's fine. But the man is coming tomorrow. Scared to hear what the man says. But I say all of this because my dear friend Lisa, her husband went out of town for, I think it was like 10 days. I know it was more than a week. And he does this every year. He goes hiking. And it's a good thing for him. And then Lisa, like me, when our partner goes away, it's like, oh. But this last year, she says, I need documentation of what to do if things happen. And Neil took that on and he made her a folder. And she was telling me about it and I could sense all the comfort that she has in the folder. So guess what my first thought was when I laid down trying to fall back to sleep? I need a folder. The more I thought about it, the more I know I really need a folder. And I told Tony about it, and I was trying to say it the way that Lisa said, where it's not just a folder where you say, flip the switch. It's like, no, I need to know where is the switch, because some of them, they have like the two switches connected together, and when you turn off this one, the other one. I mean, I need some hands-on, show me where the switch is. And then the more I thought about it, it's like, well, what if there was a fire? I'm going to put glue on the bottom of this and dimensionals on the top, just because that's how I roll lately. But if there was a fire, I think, and since then I should have checked, since last night, I think there's a fire extinguisher under the sink. Is it current? Most likely not. Do I even know how to do it? Not really. But have you ever asked yourself or thought about all these situations? Would you know what to do? So my little list of things in my folder, Lisa has a folder. I'm thinking I need a mini binder. And whenever we can't figure anything out at home, we say, gotta call the man, or call the people. I need a book of, I'll be the people. I need it to be spelled out, like everything. Like even if there's something wrong and, well, in the bathroom by the shower, there was a leak. And it was dripping for, I don't know how long. And there was damage. But if you saw a drip in the house or a leak underneath the sink, would you know what to do? Other than put a bucket under there? There's just all kinds of things that I think I need to know just in case. And I even said to him, I said, well, if we're gone, and if Erin, the house sitter, is here, she would love to have the book or the folder. And we could tell her. And if it's put into, like, I don't want to say girly words, but in words that he uses, that I understand, and if we go through each of these steps, I need that. So the more I thought about it, the bigger the idea is. And I'm even starting a little list. So do you all have the book at home? So what do, you know? Nothing tragic. This is all working out. The man is coming tomorrow at 9. And hopefully we don't have to buy a whole new unit. But there's just things, you know. I think everyone deserves to have the book. I might have stamped that a little crooked. Don't tell anyone. Yeah. So that's my excitement. A deer walking, well, you know how Tony built that fence last year? The wrought iron fence. Looks very nice. And then he weed eats along the outside of it. And we call that the Bambi Highway. Because Bambi does walk out there. And Bambi walks with that, you know, that neck. Just kind of walks on out there. The card is almost done. But I have a beautiful bow somewhere waiting. Ooh, linen thread would be pretty too. Look how nice that would go with the designer paper. But I made that pretty bow. That works perfect. Oh, and bling. I have to put bling on too. That's my story for today. It was so stinky in the house last night. That electrical smell. My first thought is, what if Warren was here? He can't be breathing that. We had the fans on, all the windows open. Oh, that looks pretty. Okay, this is my new favorite ribbon. I had to cut these a little bit short so you could see the greeting. Just a little. It's okay if it's in the way just a little bit. Now the legs kind of dwarf the bow, but should I put it up higher? Don't tear the paper. It's a little better. And you know how I have to do this. I piled stuff on top of that other mesh bow. Yikes. Okay, so there's that. Okay, these colors, I'm really liking them. The white, the beige, the basic gray, seafoam. Okay, it's all my favorite colors, that's why. My last project was working with all those bright colors. I thought, how am I going to do this? Because this right here, this is my jam. I could do this. That was a challenge, but I ended up loving it. I loved every one of those cards. I made 5 cards using designer paper that had me stumped. Where to put the bling? Okay, I'll put them, I'm going to mix them in. No, I'll put them out here in the field. One of them, this one I mixed the bling in the middle to pretend like they're more flowers. Oh, and then the butterflies. The butterflies are gold. Well, the paper has the beige in it. Okay. So these little sparkles are going to go in here. These are the baby's breath. How's that? Baby's breath mixed in with the flowers, and then one little butterfly. Where are the butterflies? Just one little one. Oh, that's so pretty. One little butterfly. So if ever you lose your sticky or you leave it behind, don't worry, because you could still attach it with liquid glue. There's hope. Look at that. Oh, that really works with the paper too. Okay, that's today's project. What do you think? Do you love it as much as I do? Do you have a book? Let me know in the comments. And if you do have a book, let me know some of the topics, and I'll probably come back and I'll cover just a little bit of the book again, because I think it's kind of important. Okay, that's it for today. If you can, hit the like and share button. I'd appreciate that. And have a great day. Thank you. Bye.